I wanted to talk tonight about getting stuck in your business. And I want you to know that when we talk about feeling stuck, or we talk about feeling like you don't know where to go next and you feel like nothing's moving, like the wheels aren't turning and you're just sitting in the same place, I want you to know, first of all, this is going to come many, many times, right? It's how we handle it, how we look at ourselves in the situation and know that like we can focus on moving forward, or we can focus on what we're not doing, right? And so I want you to ask yourself whenever you get in a moment, and I'll record this and I'll put this on my YouTube, but when you get into a moment where you feel stuck in your business, I want you to ask yourself, like, where is my focus? And I feel like I'm very honest with you guys, and I share with you that it did take me a very long time to get to 4K. It also took me a very long time after hitting 4K to get to 12K, correct? So I sat for a very long time being me focused in my business. And my ego took control of every little move that I either made or didn't make in my business, right? My ego would keep me out of conversations with people because I would be worried about what they were going to think about me. I would be worried that they're already judging me and asking the questions about the little sticker on my arm, right? They said, "What's that little sticker?" Right? I was automatically like, my wall was up. I was like, they're judging me. Like, I'm not even going to go full force into this conversation because I feel like I'm being judged. But really, like, that's just my ego. That was just my insecurities. And so I want you to ask yourself, if you get to a moment where you feel like you're stuck, where is your focus? Is your focus on yourself? Is your focus on, I'm going to look back at my notes here, but like, is your focus on Tuesday, or is your focus on your vision? Because for a really long time in my business, I was focused on Tuesday. I was focused on why I didn't get a paycheck on Tuesday. I was focused on why I didn't get free product credit when everybody else was getting it. I was focused on, I needed that immediate right in front of me to know then I was in the right place, if that makes sense. Because I was so new to this and I was like fresh, right? No experience before. I needed to have those small wins to be able to say, okay, Amber, like, you're in the right place. In my mind. In my mind, I needed people to say, to give me great reviews. I needed people to be signing up with me as a customer. I needed people to be signing with me as a promoter. But that's all ego. And I was so focused on me, and it took me such a long time to go from me focused to we focused. And when I start to see my posts pop up on whatever it's called, memories on Facebook, like, I see that in my posts. I see that and I'm like, ew. I'm like, who would have joined me a year ago, 2 years ago? Karen joined me a year ago, and I'm like, ew, right? I am so like, I don't even understand like how my mindset was so bad back then. And I was so focused on what I didn't have. Like, there's no way that God would have blessed me with what I needed in this business because I was so focused on what I needed. I wasn't focused on what she needed. And so ask yourself that really hard question. Okay. Are you focused on Tuesday? Honestly, are you focused on Tuesday? Are your posts geared towards you and what you want and the goals that you're shooting for and what Tuesday means to you and what you're reaching for in this business? Or are your posts and your stories and your content and your thoughts and your heart geared towards what this could mean for her? And you start showing up a little bit differently. And it's not something, we talk about belief a lot, right? We talk about how belief is not something that you just like turn on, although tomorrow is a new day. So if you had a shitty day today, you're going to go have a great day tomorrow, right? Can we just say that? But it's not something that's just overnight. Like, I automatically believe in myself. I automatically am confident. I automatically am going from me focus to we focus. It's something you have to work at every single day. And it comes in those posts and it comes in those face-to-face stories. And that right there, that's exactly the employee mindset, Harriet. That's a great point. But that right there is how you're going to build that connection with her, because she knows that you're not just focused on Tuesday, that you actually care about her, that you care about her to ask questions, to know what she's struggling with, so that you can speak to her on your story, so that you can speak to her in your posts. And I'll touch on that just a little bit, Harriet, and that could be part of what held me back for so long, because I didn't know how to do this business. I didn't know how this industry worked. And that's all I had ever known was employee mindset. Tell me what to do. I'm only here until I got to clock out. And so many times I would say, like, that's not my job. I still say that at my job right now, like, that's not my job. My job is not to go scan paperwork in the computer, because that's what they have human resource, or that's what they have medical records for, right? But it's a totally different vibe when you step into this industry and nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you what to post. Nobody's telling you what your next step is. That's something that only you can figure out, what feels right in your heart to step forward for your business, right? What direction you want to go. If you want to talk about samples, if you want to talk about something mentally that you're struggling with or whatnot, right? You're the only one that can make that decision. But you're also the only one who can keep your business going. Okay. You're the only one. I cannot motivate you to run your business. I say that all the time, right? I cannot motivate you to run your business. All I can do is show up for my business and show you what can be done. That is the same thing for you. Whether you have a team under you or not, that is the same thing. You are the only one that can show up as that leader for your team, whether they are here yet or not. I promise you, if you persevere through the times where you feel stuck, your team is coming. Your team is coming. And I want to get into some things. I was listening to some self-development, I don't know, the other day. And I have some like analogies, okay? But before we get into those, I wrote down here, it's going to take work. It's going to take work to go from focusing on you to focusing on them. And I'll be honest with you, it is scary to go first. It is scary when you don't have a team under you yet. It is scary when it's just yourself, but it's also the easiest that you'll ever have it in this business right now, right? Because as you grow, as your team grows, people are looking at you and they want to know what you're doing and they want to see you showing up so that they know how to show up because they're looking at you as an example. And so it is hard to go first. It is hard to come up with content for Zooms. It is hard to be the one to say, I don't know, I'm just going to figure it out today, right? Especially if maybe the people that you surround yourself with don't understand this industry, right? That's hard to go first. Maybe your husband doesn't understand this industry. That's hard. Okay. It's going to be hard and it's going to take a lot of work to go from focusing on yourself to focusing on other people. Hi, boys. And I put right here that you are the start of the ripple. And that's exactly what we just said. You are the ripple. You're the start. You're the little rock that drops into the water and you start that ripple. And when you start showing up and you start showing your confidence on screen and you start talking about the business, even though you don't think you're ready to talk about the business, then it gives your team a little bit more confidence, right? And I want you to think about your team that's out there that hasn't joined you yet. They are still your team. They are your team before they click that promoter button, just as much as they are your team when they click that promoter button. There is no difference before the click of the button, right? We still talk to them the same. But you have to start the ripple. Number one, I put on here, look at your content. So is your content focused? We already mentioned this just a second ago, but is it focused on you or are you actually showing up to serve and are you setting yourself apart? And I feel like working with Lavelle, they make it super simple to set yourself apart, right? We have no mandatory auto ships for us or our customers. That's beautiful. We earn free product credit. Our customers can earn free product credit. That's beautiful. The way we lead, the way that we teach our team to build themselves as their brand and to not have to send out spammy cold messages, that is beautiful. All of these things are so beautiful that you have to show up and talk about it because you never know who may be in this industry and they may not be happy with what they have, but they need it, right? They need it because they're struggling with something else. And so they're trying so hard to believe in what they have, but they may be watching you. And it may be that one day that you were bold enough to show up and say, listen, like, I am working towards having my car payment paid for every single month, right? And she's like, oh crap, right? Or maybe you say, I earned free product credit this month. This is how much I earned, and this is what I'm doing with it. I'm going to order these products, and then the rest of it I'm going to use for my customers. And oh my gosh, how amazing does it feel that I get to keep my integrity in this business, right? I'm never forced to send a cold message. I earn my products for free, so I'm not forking out money every single month, right? You start talking to her. Start talking to her in your content. It's not about what you want to say. It's about what they need to hear. I wrote that down. Number 2, confidence is the product of belief. How many of you guys joined me because I was confident in what I was sharing, right? Or the person that you joined with was very confident. They were confident in the products that they were using. They actually showed up every day and they were using the product, and you were so intrigued, right? Were they confident in the business whenever they talked about it that made you say, maybe, right? So always remember that your confidence is something that you're going to grow time after time, day after day, week after week, month after month. It's something that you're going to grow, but it's a transfer of energy. Okay. It's a transfer of energy, and it's a product of belief. I also put on here, you can't transfer something that you don't have. So if you don't have confidence in your business, if you don't have confidence in yourself as a leader, how will the next girl ever believe in herself enough to click the button? And that's the hard truth. And so when you start to think about like, oh, it's great to think I just need to believe in myself, or I just need to be more confident, or I just need to have a little bit of higher energy whenever I show up on my stories or whatever. Like, that's cool and all. It's easier said than done, but like, how do I do it? Is where we kind of go, I don't know. I mean, I guess it just comes with time. There's 2 things that you can change. And this is what I was listening to the other day. Number 1, you can change your attitude. And I'm sure you've heard the analogy of the lion that is the king of the jungle, right? And there's a reason why he's the king of the jungle. And I'm sure you've heard before, he's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, he's not the smartest, but he's the king of the jungle because he believes he's the king of the jungle. He looks at the elephant that weighs what? I don't even know how much more than him, is larger than him. He looks at that elephant and he's like, that's lunch, right? And so it's the attitude that he brings. He's not the fastest. The cheetah, I think, is the fastest one, right? The cheetah is the fastest animal. But why is the lion the king of the jungle? With everything he's got, every single day, he wakes up and he's a lion. And he doesn't take anybody else's shit, right? And so if you can change your attitude about your business, it starts with little things like I am, and affirmations and gratitude, being thankful for what we have, right? Like Katie says, what does she say? What's that? That, is it a parable in the Bible, Harriet, that's like where she talks about if you're faithful with some, then you can be faithful with many. This isn't my strong suit, but it goes something like that. And if you can change your attitude every single day and you can wake up knowing, hey, I don't know what it looks like to go 4K yet because I haven't done it, but I'm doing it, right? It's the same thing as if I wake up and I'm like, I've never lost 10 pounds, but I'm doing it. I am doing it this time. I am committed this time. then you look at your water intake a little bit differently. You look at your IPAs a little bit differently when you know that you're a 4K leader and you know what that car bonus is going to feel like whenever you do finally go 12K. And you start talking to yourself a little bit differently and you show up, right? You embody the woman that you're becoming. We talk about that a lot. I can't tell you what that's going to feel like or when you're going to have that moment, but it's so freeing. It's so freeing when you go from feeling like you're stressed and you need 2 customers and you need a paycheck on Tuesday and you need somebody to reach out in your inbox and you're just literally sweating like it's got to happen, to releasing it. And I said to myself for a very long time, and I'll say it again, I know I tell you guys this all the time, but I used to tell myself every single day, I release the stress over the how and the when, and I trust that my blessings are coming. But there's a difference in saying that to yourself every day and actually believing it and actually trusting that you have what it takes to be able to steward this business, to be able to lead somebody else, to be able to inspire somebody else, to be able to change their life too. And so you have to wake up every single day and you have to change that attitude. It's not the ability, it's the mentality, right? The elephant has the ability, but he lacks the mentality. The lion's got the mentality. And there's this, okay, so I'm still reading this book, The Slight Edge. And in here, he talks about this curve. And I don't remember what he calls it, but if you think about having like this, right? So you've got your line and then you've got this, and it's kind of like a sideways T. Bear with me here because this is just crazy. But anyways, so this right here, think of it like a graph, okay? This right here is your life. This is your lifeline, and this is your timeline, okay? So if you have a piece of paper, draw a line like this and draw a line like this and write life on this side and write time over here. You basically just drew a sideways T, right? You get what I'm saying? And you decide every single day, that 1% better that we talk about, if your curve is going to go up or if your curve is going to go down, correct? With every choice you make, you're either going up or you're going down. And he says in this book, he says, there's no such thing as staying in the same place. He says, you're either increasing or you're decreasing. This is the compound interest that we talked about. This is being able to do your IPAs every day and have those conversations every day and show up for your business every day, and your confidence grows every day. Then you are on the upward curve. It just takes time, right? Versus if you're sitting in lack and you don't believe in yourself, and so you skip your live video that day. Maybe you skip your post because you didn't know what to post that day. Do you see what I mean? Just like Lindsay says, you're not stuck. You're just not moving. And to that, I will say you're not stuck. You're just not growing. And so what are you reading right now? What are you listening to right now? Are you growing yourself? And then he says on here, he says, there's one attitude on this, what do you call it? This curve. He says, there's one attitude that predominates either side of the curve. Okay, so while we're talking about changing our attitude in our business and our attitude towards ourselves, this is basically, we're talking about our belief system, right? He says there's the attitude of blame, which takes you down. How come I'm not there yet? How come she's earned a bonus and she's 3 days in? How come this? How come that? Nobody's in my inbox. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're going down, right? This is all part of our attitude and our belief system in our business. But in order to go up, maybe you are consistent. Maybe you are doing your IPAs every day. Maybe you are going live. Maybe you are speaking to her in your content. Then all that checks out. but maybe it's the belief. Maybe it's the attitude. And so when you go from blame, from why am I not there yet? How come I don't have my results yet? How come I'm not paid on Tuesday? Where's my free product credit? Right? To responsibility. That's the attitude that we have to take in our business, where we know that we are 100% responsible for why there isn't somebody in my inbox right now, why I haven't gotten a sample out this week. Maybe I didn't even talk about samples, right? This cat's driving me crazy. And so when you can take full responsibility, go listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, okay? He will talk about that all day. He's like, I 100% take responsibility for my business. For everything that goes wrong in my business, I take responsibility. For everything that goes right in my business, I take responsibility. That way, at the end of the day, like he knows where he's got to improve because he's already taken responsibility for it. He knows, right? If you take responsibility for the actions and you take responsibility for the results or the lack of results, you stand so much stronger. You stand so much stronger and you have so much more control over your business versus always saying, well, how come? Why not? And so the last thing I'm going to leave you with is the second thing that you can change is your altitude. And I thought that this was kind of cool, and I didn't research it, but I'm just going to go off of what I heard. And it's that he was talking about eagles on this, I don't even know, video I was listening to, but it says he said eagles can fly like 3 to 4 miles high in the air. Like that's their altitude that they fly at. And he said, when an eagle meets a bird at top flight, he's at his top flight, right? As high as he can go. It must be another eagle because he's the only bird that can fly at that altitude. And eagles don't flock together, right? Like a goose or anything else. They are flying at their own altitude above the other birds. And so what he said on this video, he said, so if you find yourself surrounded by some pigeons and some ducks, he said, you're flying too low. And so if the quality of the people that you hang around, maybe they bring you down at work, maybe it's family, right? We all have toxic family members, okay? You're nobody special. I have them too. But if you're surrounding yourself with that and you're letting that affect this, then it's going to affect your business because it's going to affect your attitude. And so if you can change your attitude, that's one thing, but you also have to change your altitude. You have to believe that you're the lion, but you also have to fly like the eagle. You have to go higher, above all the naysayers, above all the people who are going to have crap to talk about you, above all the trolls on social media who say, are you still talking about that crap, right? You have to fly at your own altitude, and you have to be okay flying alone sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be a lonely flight. But I tell you what, when you're flying alone, it's real quiet. It's real quiet when you're flying alone in your business and you get to meet your true self, how ugly or beautiful that is. And in that moment, you say, this is where I need to work because I'm not being so nice to myself right now, because I'm bringing myself down, because I'm out here flying alone and I'm with my thoughts and my thoughts aren't so pretty, right? And you get to know yourself a little bit. But if you can get to know yourself a little bit and work on yourself a little bit, everything will mesh together and you will constantly be on the up curve towards your goals. And I think it's Steve Harvey that said this quote that like sticks with me and made me kind of honestly like push forward in my business a little bit more. I was always the type to sit there and say, why not me? How come not me? I don't understand. Even when Katie told me in January, she told me you're in your head. I said, I don't think I am. right? Until Steve Harvey said, the reason why you ain't there yet is because you ain't there yet. And I said, oh, shit. I said, that's right. Right? And so maybe you just need to hear it a different way. Maybe you need to fly solo for a little bit to see who you're actually flying with. Right? And if you can trust the person who's flying, if you can trust the person who's sailing the ship, who's gonna make it through the storms or who's going to go under, right? This is what you learn when you're alone. And it's okay to be alone for a little bit. Because if you can master that and you master your mind and you master your disciplines in your daily life and in your business, I promise you it will come together. And the last thing I'm leaving you with is what you're waiting on, right? We're all waiting. You're waiting on that runner. You're waiting on that customer. You're waiting on this or that or that. You're waiting on a certain amount of money and then you're going to feel happy. You're waiting on somebody to join your business who actually gets it and doesn't leave, right? What you're waiting on is waiting on you. And you have to become it. And I don't have a way of telling you like how to do it. It all starts here. It all starts here. And that's what I'll leave you with. Look, we did a 30-minute Zoom tonight. What you're waiting on is waiting on you, sis. Okay? I promise. I love you guys.